Every year, thousands of pregnant women report the same strange phenomenon. Wild animals that normally keep their distance, deer, foxes, stray dogs, even birds, approach them without fear. Not aggressively, not cautiously, almost deliberately. A woman hiking in Colorado describes a doe following her for 20 minutes. Another in rural Australia has wild kangaroos appearing on her porch daily, something that never happened before her pregnancy. These aren't isolated incidents, they're a pattern, and that pattern suggests something most people have never considered. Animals can detect pregnancy before you even show, and they react to it, so what's actually happening here? Let's start with what pregnancy does to your body that you can't see. Within weeks of conception, your hormonal profile completely changes. Estrogen levels skyrocket, progesterone floods your system, your body starts producing a hormone called relaxin that doesn't exist in significant amounts when you're not pregnant. And all of this, it changes how you smell. To a human, you might not notice, but to an animal whose survival depends on scent, you've become a completely different chemical signature. Dogs can detect a single drop of blood in an Olympic-sized swimming pool. A bear's sense of smell is 7 times better than that. When your hormones shift, you're not just a little different to a wild animal. You're broadcasting a biological signal they've been evolutionarily wired to recognize for millions of years. But here's what really locks it in. Pregnancy doesn't just change what animals smell, it changes how they respond. There's a concept in animal behavior called Conspecific recognition. Animals across species recognize reproductive states in others, even outside their own kind. A pregnant deer emits different pheromones than a non-pregnant one. A gestating wolf behaves differently than her packmates, and mammals, especially, share enough biological similarities that these signals cross species boundaries. When a wild animal detects pregnancy, something deep in its brain registers. Vulnerable, non-threatening, nurturing state. And that triggers a response that overrides normal caution. Researchers studying this phenomenon have found something fascinating. Wild animals don't approach pregnant women the same way they approach non-pregnant humans. They approach them the way they approach their own pregnant members. Slowly, watchfully, sometimes even protectively. There's documented cases of wild dolphins surrounding pregnant swimmers, dogs that have never met a woman suddenly refusing to leave her side, horses that become unusually gentle, cats that won't stop sitting on bellies. This isn't mystical. It's biological recognition. So what about the skeptics? Because plenty of people will say this is confirmation bias, that pregnant women are just more aware of animals because they're more cautious, more observant. Fair point. Except the data doesn't support it. A 2019 study tracked wildlife camera footage in areas frequented by hikers. When researchers reviewed interactions, pregnant women had statistically significant more approach events from deer and foxes than non-pregnant women walking the exact same trails. The animals were initiating contact more often, not the humans noticing more. There's one more piece to this most people miss. Pregnancy changes your body language. You move slower. You're less threatening in your posture. Your gait becomes wider, more stable, less predator-like. To an animal making split-second survival decisions, you read as less dangerous than other humans. Combine that with the hormonal signal, and you've become something animals instinctively categorize differently. Not as prey, not as predator, as something closer to kin. Here's the deeper truth sitting underneath all of this. We've spent so long thinking of humans as separate from the animal kingdom that we forget our bodies still speak the same ancient language. The chemical signals that told a wolf pack to protect its pregnant members 10,000 years ago are the same signals your body is producing right now. The wilderness isn't reading you the way you think it is. That fox sitting 20 feet from your campsite isn't confused. It knows exactly what you are. And somewhere in the deep wiring of every mammal still alive on this planet, there's a response that's older than cities, older than agriculture, older than language itself. Pregnancy is recognized, and in the wild, that recognition changes everything. So the next time a wild animal approaches you during pregnancy, and you wonder if you should be afraid, here's what's actually happening. It's not ignoring the threat you might pose. It's responding to a signal that predates human civilization entirely. You're not just a person anymore. You're a biological broadcast. And the animals, they're just listening. This is Idea Spark, where curiosity meets clarity.